Welcome back to Tuesday Traffic Jam. We are glad you could join us during rush hour traffic. You may remember me from previous episodes. I'm Ryan, Principal Planner here at the NPO. I'm here with my co-host Dave Hutchinson, NPO Executive Director.
Thank you, Ryan, and hello, everyone. I'm very excited to be hosting this week's episode. Today, we'll be discussing some hot topics in the transportation field: mobility, reliability, technology, and autonomy. We'll touch briefly on some of the most promising solutions to transportation and mobility challenges. Transportation infrastructure is becoming more technology-based and connected to communications networks and electric power grids. In the future, infrastructure issues will be more multidisciplinary, interrelated, and interdependent. Today's topics involve big data, live information and forecasting, interoperability, cybersecurity, and transportation performance measures. And we'll hear about how taking a transportation systems approach that links planning to management and operations can benefit us today and in the future.
You're exactly right, Dave. These are hot topics in the field, but also in our region. We have received several comments about when we'll be discussing these issues. Well, the wait is over. Please welcome some experts in the field to join us in our discussion. Tyrone and Mark, will you both please take a minute to introduce yourself and share what you believe is the biggest transportation challenge we face today?
Sure, I can go first if you don't mind, Ryan. Tyrone Scorsone. I'm an associate planner with Kittleson & Associates. I work out of our Tallahassee office. I see our biggest transportation problem that we're confronted with today being primarily driven by the conditions that we're operating in under the pandemic. And that relates specifically to issues with transit options for especially those persons who are transit reliant. There are a significant number of residents in both Manatee and Sarasota counties who are dependent on the bus as their primary form of transportation. In reality, oftentimes this is the same population who works in the service industry, whether they're cleaning buildings or serving food, and those persons don't have the luxury of working from home like a lot of us. How do we provide a safe transit system for them to further mitigate the spread of the coronavirus? Buses allow for close seating in enclosed vehicles, and these conditions are far from ideal. If the number of people allowed on a bus is limited to allow for some type of social distancing, what happens to the riders who are downstream of an already full bus? I see these as real issues and challenges for the current day.
Mark, why don't you tell us about yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Mark Mathis, and I'm with the Florida Department of Transportation, District 1, which is southwest and part of Central Florida. The position I hold is the Transportation Systems Management and Operations Program Engineer, TSMO engineer for short. And our focus is on taking our capacity back. It's using technology and other strategies to optimize the performance of the region's existing roadways. A couple of areas I oversee is traffic signal operations, the Regional Traffic Management Center, which identifies and responds to incidents, and our connected, at the district levels, connected and automated vehicle program. Some of my background: I have 15 years of experience in transportation engineering, including safety, traffic operations, design, and intelligent transportation systems. The biggest challenge I see in transportation today, and it's been a challenge for a long time, is the fatalities and serious injuries on our roadways. According to NHTSA, in 2016, more than 37,000 people lost their lives on U.S. highways. 94% of serious crashes are due to decisions people make behind the wheel, as driver error. FDOT and our partners are focused on making our roads safer and reducing fatalities. I believe that technology and autonomy are going to play a primary role in reducing crashes with the goal of zero fatalities. Technology will help drivers make better decisions, and ultimately the vehicles will make the right decisions without the driver's input.
Thank you very much for being with us here today, Tyrone and Mark. As you may know, people in our region are very passionate about reducing congestion. However, some people may not know that our performance is also measured on reliability. Can you please take a minute and explain what reliability is and why it's important to the congestion conversation? Starting with Tyrone.
We tend to plan our trips in advance. So through expecting kind of recurring traffic conditions. So for a person traveling to the airport along from the Fruitville Road area along US 41, you might anticipate a 15-minute ride. If there are unforeseen travel conditions, that might double the amount of time it takes to get to the airport along that same stretch of US 1. So our 15-minute planned trip turns into 30 minutes. And as a result, we could miss our flight. Similarly, when leaving to commute to work on a daily basis, we can plan for a range of time that will arrive at our destination. In this example, let's say we plan for 20 to 25 minutes. If there's a non-recurring event that happens along our route, the travel time could increase to 40 or 45 minutes. How much tolerance does our employer have for being late? What if we work in a service industry that has very little tolerance for being late? These unreliable travel conditions could cost us our jobs. Travelers should be able to predict travel time and have an expectation that they'll arrive at their destinations in an acceptable range of time. Travel time reliability is the determination of how variable travel times are along a segment of roadway. We should be focused on decreasing the variability of travel times along the roadway in both Sarasota and Manatee counties. This will allow for more predictable trips.
Great, thanks, Tyrone. Mark, after hearing what Tyrone has discussed regarding the reliability measure and its use in evaluating congestion, what are some ways that technological improvements and autonomous connected vehicle concepts can be implemented to help reach these goals? And what are some TSMO-related projects in our region we should pay attention to going forward?
Thanks, Ryan. I think we'll start by talking about data. Our current transportation system, it produces a lot of data, whether from traffic signals, intelligence sensors, and the users of the facility. Bringing all these data together is challenging as it resides in different agencies, it's written in different formats, and with varying levels of quality. That doesn't mean this data isn't beneficial. This data could be organized and analyzed to provide useful information which allows better decisions to be made. Currently, we're working with the MPO to collect data and provide information on roadway performance, such as reliability, travel time, and safety, which is being used to prioritize funding for projects and identify future needs. The second initiative I want to discuss is the I-4 frame. That's Florida's Regional Advanced Mobility Elements. It's a collaboration between multiple agencies, between the cities of Orlando and the city of Tampa. The goal of the I-4 frame is to increase mobility and safety along the interstate and surface streets using connected vehicle technology. Connected vehicles use vehicle to vehicle, vehicle to infrastructure, and infrastructure to vehicle communication to exchange information. This could include signal phasing and timing from a traffic signal, location data from a vehicle, and it could also be whether vehicles are braking hard ahead. This info can be used by the vehicles to alert the driver of a hazard and hopefully prevent a crash. When major incidents occur along I-4, such as a closure due to a crash, the goal of the project is to quickly divert traffic onto alternate routes. Signal timing adjustments can be implemented on the surface streets to accommodate increased demand. Additionally, information can be disseminated through apps such as FL511 and Waze, so drivers can avoid the congestion by modifying their travel plans. More information on the I-4 frame can be found on the DOT website.
Well, that was a great conversation, and I hope that we'll start seeing some of these advances in technologies implemented in our area soon too. We can see that a lot of effort is going into enhancing the safety of our transportation systems, reducing congestion, making congestion that is always going to be there more predictable, and using technology, taking a systems approach to operations and mobility. So I'd like to close this interview with one last question, which is, what are some strategies or low-hanging fruit that you recommend for the Sarasota Manatee region to reduce congestion and increase mobility and reliability, and to integrate advanced technology for our daily commutes and drives?
Dave, what if every time the light turned green and we drove downstream to the very next signalized intersection just to approach a red light? The frustration there, getting recurring red lights every time we get through an intersection. It'd be nice to drive through 3 or 4 consecutive green lights. This can be the difference between taking 5 minutes to get through a corridor or doubling the time and taking 10 minutes to get through the same exact corridor. Some of this can be achieved through deploying advanced signal systems at those intersections. We're already doing a good job of providing traveler information and going to the beaches. We alert drivers to the number of parking spaces that are available or the expected travel time from any given point. And similar to the information that Mark shared with us, this helps empower those drivers with information that they can actively use in deciding their route. A lot of times we don't know the extent of stop and go traffic, particularly when we're sitting in congestion. We can be sitting in congestion for 10 minutes or 25 minutes, but through providing travel time information with tools like dynamic message signs, we allow travelers to make those informed decisions so they no longer have to guess how long the congestion will last. Have you ever driven along an interstate and an accident in the opposite direction has caused travelers that are going in your direction to slow down, to look across the freeway at what is going on the other side? The chain reaction from these gawkers can easily lead to rear end collisions, because what you'll have is high speed differentials. That is, people that are probably hurling along the interstate at 77, 80 miles per hour, rapidly approaching the tail end of vehicles who've slowed down to 40 miles per hour in order to see the accident on the other side of the freeway. This is not only a travel time reliability concern, but it's also a safety concern. To mitigate these types of issues, visual barriers could quickly be set up at the scene of an accident. These barriers could be deployed by either road rangers or any other emergency response entity, and could be deployed at a height that would prohibit drivers from viewing the accident, thus allow for a continued steady flow of traffic.
I think one of the areas, kind of touching again on data and information, is the dissemination of information. As we talked earlier, information helps people make more informed decisions. And the more people we can provide useful information to, the more positive impact we can have. One idea is to expand the user base by partnering with private sector developers to get information in the hands of people who can use it. We're doing some of that with Waze and Google, but I think we can take it much farther and have a greater impact. The second point I'd talk about is, in general, collaboration is really important between our partners, including first responders, to improve mobility and safety. Incorporating technology isn't easy, and it starts with identifying a problem in the transportation system and working as a team towards a solution. New technology requires patience and education to get buy-in from all the stakeholders. Understanding what the technology can and can't do, and what is it going to take from our partners to operate and maintain the project, is key to our success.
Tyrone and Mark, thanks for your time and sharing some of your expertise on these topics, such as mobility, congestion management, and technology implementation. If anyone has any questions or comments, as always, you can leave them in the comment box below. Don't forget to let us know how we did. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes, thank you all for spending time with us here during your Tuesday traffic jam. If you will go to www.mympo.org, you will see at the top how would you spend $5 billion on transportation. Below that are some buttons. The first will take you to a community needs map where you can drop a pin on any location and leave a comment. And the other button will take you to the Tuesday Traffic Jams webpage, where you can see a list of all of the available episodes. You can click participate for each episode and watch the podcast and download the documents that are available for you to review and comment.
Thanks, Dave. Before we go, the next episode of Tuesday Traffic Jam will be posted on August 28th. In the meantime, don't forget to check out the available planning documents and let us know what you think. On that note, thank you everyone again for joining us today for your Tuesday Traffic Jam. Have a great day, and whether you drive, walk, bike, or ride transit, please be alert and stay safe.